Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vish and today is a special TBR video. So in September, I'm going to be participating in 3 readathons, mainly 2. So the first readathon is Becca's Bookopoly, which was created by Becca from Becca and the Books. This, I think, is the 4th Bookopoly. So there was a 48-hour last year, a month one last year, a 48-hour one this year, and now another month-long one. I participated in both of the 48-hour readathons, but I did not participate in the month-long one last year because I just had a lot going on and I didn't want to put pressure on my reading. This year, however, I am determined because I experienced a lot of FOMO. If you don't know what Bookoplathon is, I will link Becca's announcement video down below for you to check out. She explains everything. She gives a tour of the board, she gives the rules, she gives the date, so definitely check that video out. Now the second readathon that I want to participate in is the magical readathon Orilium, which is created by G from Book Roast. I am amazed at what she created. She created this whole world and lore and the creatures and the places. It's amazing. So I am so excited to participate in this. And the third readathon is the Shardathon. This is a 2-week readathon hosted by Sophia from Sophia's Thoughts, plus a few co-hosts, which I think is Joanna from Joanna Souza, Jessie from A Bookish Mom, Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse, and I think Angela from Literature Science Alliance. I'm not too sure, but I will link all their channels down below and the announcement video for Shardathon down below as well. Now I mainly say I'm participating in 2 readathons, which is Bookoplathon and Magical Readathon, is because Shardathon's prompts are very easy to fulfill. So I'm just going to be slotting it in there when I can. Before we get on to the roles, I just wanted to show you the books that I really need to prioritize for this month and hopefully fit into all the prompts. So we have Heart of Flames, The Maidens, Blood Honey, and Night Study. They're all buddy reads, and I will explain which buddy read and their synopsis later. So let's go to roll number 1. Roll number 1, it's a 7. And that is a chance card. And that is Heart of Flames. So starting off roll number 1, we got a chance card and it was Heart of Flames. So with these chance cards, I basically tried to make it easier for myself and I put books that I really want to read, but some of them are on the thicker side, so maybe a little bit of a challenge, but I'm so glad Heart of Flames came up. So Heart of Flames is the second book to the Crown of Feathers trilogy, and this is the September's pick for our channel buddy read. If you don't know, I host a channel buddy read every month focusing on fantasy series. For May, June, and July, we did the Daevabad trilogy and it was an absolute success. And for August, September, and October, we're doing the Crown of Feathers trilogy, and I have finished the Crown of Feathers actually today when I'm filming this. I finished it. We're continuing on to the second book in the month of September. If you want to join us, come join us. The Discord will be linked down below. It's actually Night Court themed. We have a blast and I'm really excited to read this. I will just give you a brief synopsis of Crown of Feathers because obviously this is spoilers since it's the second book. In Crown of Feathers, we're following 3 characters, but mainly we follow Veronica, who is a animage. She can communicate with animals through her mind and she wants to become a phoenix rider. Only animages can become phoenix riders. One day her sister Val found 2 phoenix eggs and one of them hatches for Veronica and she is instantly bonded with this phoenix. She then goes out to seek other phoenix riders to attend this kind of training to become a fully fledged phoenix rider. This story is full of dramaticness, angsty scenes, but what I really like about this series is the world history and the world building, and obviously the phoenixes, they have their own personality. So I'm excited to get into this. My mom has read the whole trilogy, surprise, so she said that this one is more slower, which is fine by me. You know me, I love slow books. I can't wait to find out more about this world and spend more time with the phoenixes. Roll number 2. That is a 5. That is Mood Read. And for role number 2, we got Mood Read. How lucky was that? And for this one, I'm going to put in Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. Blood and Honey is the second book to the Serpent and Dove series, and the third one, God and Monsters, just came out a couple of months ago, I think, or last month. So a couple of friends of mine have decided to reread Serpent and Dove and then continue on to Blood and Honey and God and Monsters. I actually haven't read Blood and Honey before, so this will be my first time diving into this one. I'm a bit nervous just because I have seen a couple of mixed reviews about this one. So in Serpent and Dove, we follow two characters, Reed and Lou. Lou is a witch in hiding or running from her coven, and she accidentally bumps into Reed, who is a witch hunter. After some very weird accidental and weird circumstances, Lou and Reed are being forced to marry each other, and Reed doesn't know that Lou is a witch, and Lou agrees to this marriage because, well, not agrees, but she reluctantly agrees so that she can hide in plain sight, and plus she'll be protected from her coven as she is living with witch hunters. And a little cute romance blossoms from there. I really enjoyed Serpent and Dove. I think I read it in a span of 24 hours, and I listened to the audiobook while I physically read, and I'm planning to do the same for this. The magic system is really interesting because there are consequences, or you need to give something in order to take something. So I really like that concept, and I'm excited to see that magic system built upon in this one. At least I hope it does. Roll number 3. That is a 5. Community shelf card. Says read a standalone. And the third roll, we landed on a community shelf card. And with the community shelf cards, I actually put in the prompts from the Magical Readathon, so it's easier for me, you know? And we got read a standalone. I'm gonna give myself a bit of freedom with this prompt just because I have so many standalone books. It can be a thriller, romance, fantasy, anything really. So I have picked a specific book, but if I do end up changing it, you will see it in my wrap up. So for this prompt, read a standalone, I picked The Martian by Andy Weir. So I did a 10 books to read in 2021, and I've only read one book from that list. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up above and down below. And I need to get a move on with that list, and The Martian is actually part of that list. This will be the standalone that I prioritize if I feel like I want to change my mind. I do have a few of the other books on that list that I can read, but for now I'll pick The Martian. All I really know about this is an adult sci-fi where a man is stuck on Mars with only very little oxygen left, and he has to kind of survive in Mars until someone comes and rescues him, I think. But apparently this is very funny, so I'm excited to see that humor, and I'm going to also watch the movie as well. Really pumped to read. It's not that long. The font is not large, but nonetheless, I am excited to read this. Roll number 4. That's a 7. 7, which is a spooky book. For our fourth roll, we got Spooky Book, which is great because I can actually add in The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I am buddy reading this with Charmaine and Sharon. I will link Sharon's channel down below and Charmaine's Instagram down below. They are dear friends of mine. And we actually buddy read The Silent Patient last year, and I thought, hey, since we read his first book, why not read his next book? So we're pumped to read this. And since this is an adult thriller, it is going to be spooky because there is murder. There is going to be very dark academia atmosphere, so it's spooky. So it fills the spooky prompt. Okay, from what I understand from the synopsis is we follow this woman, Mariana, and her niece's friend was murdered at this university, and Mariana suspects one of the professors at the university. So she tries to prove that he was behind the murders, is what I think this book is about. And as I said, it is dark academia because it takes place in a university. There is murder, mayhem, so I'm very excited to read this. I've heard very polarizing things from people. Some people really hate it, some people really love it. So I'm not going to have high expectations for this. And lastly, roll number 5. Hopefully there are no doubles. You fucking shitting me. That is a 10, folks, and that is a double, so that is not the last roll. LGBTQ plus rep. For our fifth and not final roll. Did you see that double? Did you see it? We got LGBTQ plus rep. And for this, I'm going to put in Night Study by Maria V. Snyder. This is the 8th book of the Chronicles of Ixia series. I've been reading one book a month with my good friend Abby and Sam. I'll link Abby's channel below and Sam's Instagram below for you to check out. And we've been reading one book a month since January. We're now on the 8th book. And the reason I picked this for queer rep is because there is a trans character in this series. I won't say who just because it's a spoiler. But since this is the 8th book in the series, I can't really give you the synopsis for this. But the poison study is about Yelena, who is being executed for murder, but the chief of security, Valak, gives her a choice. She either chooses execution or she becomes a poison taster. And Yelena obviously chooses life, so she becomes a poison taste tester for the commander of Ixia. And while being in that position, she has powers that she doesn't know how to control in a land that doesn't allow magic. There's more to that synopsis that meets the eye. There's so much more world building, there's so much history because we have a different country called Scythia, which is a country that allows magic, and that's where magicians reside. And I absolutely love the characters. These are some of my favorite characters. I've been reading this for years and years now, and I just love this so much, and I'm excited to read Night Study because it's about Valak's backstory, and I'm excited. Last roll, hopefully, roll number 6. That is a 6. That is randomize your TBR. And the 6th and final roll, thank God, is randomize your TBR. I also want to point out that I really like that I started on Go and ended at Go. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, for randomize your TBR, I basically have an Excel spreadsheet for every book that I own, Kindle, ARC, or physically. So I'm going to do a random number generator and then we're going to pick from there. However, there's exceptions. If Way of King comes up, I'm not picking that because I need to be in the correct mental space for that. And 2, there's some non-fictions on that list and I probably won't read a lot of them, we'll see. And 3, if I land on a book that is part of a series, like if it's book 2 or 3, I'll just read book 1 instead. Okay, I'm gonna screen record it and put it on here. All right, so as you can see, I have 326 physical TBR. Shut up, I know. So let's generate a number. Okay, so it's 158. What is that? Only Human by Sylvain Nouvelle. So Only Human, I believe, is the 3rd book in the Themis File series. So I guess I'm gonna be reading Sleeping Giants. So I'll be reading Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvelle. This is the 1st book in the Themis File series. I know this book is told in interview format, so that's going to be really cool. I'm gonna see if I can find the audiobook for this. And this book was actually gifted to me by Alan, Sam, Abby, Jesse, other Jessie from Bookish Mom, and Tara, who are all from the Shelf Space Book Club. Thank you guys so much for this lovely birthday present that you got me last year. Thank you. And this book is about a girl who is basically biking through the forest and she falls upon a metal hand. And when she grows up, she becomes a scientist and she does this lifelong research about where that hand came from, and that's essentially all I know about this and all I want to know about it. So I'm very excited to get to this. I've been meaning to. Okay, so this is my Bookopoly TBR. It's not too bad, to be honest, because Heart of Flames, yes, is thicker, but it's actually easier to read. I flew through Crown of Feathers. The Martian's not that big. I have the audiobook, so it's gonna be fine. Maidens, it's a thriller. It's not gonna be hard. I have the audiobook as well. But on Honey, it's a YA. Also have the audiobook. And Night Study is a reread, so that'll go quickly. And Sleeping Giants is not that big, and I will be getting the audiobook. So wow, I have all the audiobooks for this. Okay, now with Bookopoly done, let's move on to the Magical Readathon. So with the Magical Readathon, the goal is basically to go through the novice path and end up at Orilium Academy, which we will attend next year, April. And for this path, we have 7 prompts, but we only need 2 to fulfill the Readathon. But however, we do have 3 extra prompts that basically determines your background, province, and heritage. And you can fulfill those 3 from now till April. What I think I'm going to do is either double up with the other 7 prompts, or if I have time I can fulfill these prompts with other books, so I'm not sure, but let's go through the 7 prompts. So the first prompt is the novice path entrance, which is to read a book with a map. And for this I picked Heart of Flames because there is a map. As you can see, a map, beautiful. The second prompt is Ash Torn Tree, which is to read a book that keeps tempting you or top of your TBR. And for this I picked Blood and Honey by Shelby Mulhern. I have been wanting to get to this for like a year now because this came out last year, but now I have the chance, so it's going to be atop my TBR. The third prompt, The Mist of Solitude, is to read a standalone, which coincides with the prompt in Bookopoly, so I'm going to pick The Martian by Andy Weir. The fourth prompt is Ruin of the Sky, which is to read a book featuring ghosts, haunted house, or other supernatural elements. And for this, I picked Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't actually read this, which is shocking. I mentioned my 10 books to read in 2021. This is actually on the list, so I want to read it. I think I'm going to really love this because my mom really loved this, Abby really loved this, and both of them have similar tastes to me, so I trust them. All I really know about this is that it's dark academia, adult fantasy for one, and it takes place in Yale, and we follow Alex, who goes to Yale and she can see ghosts, and she joins this secret society and a lot of supernatural shit happens. Don't really know a whole lot, and I want it to stay that way because I want to know what happens when I read it. So I'm very, very pumped to read this. However, because this is an extra book, I don't know if I'll get to this, but fingers crossed I actually do. The fifth prompt is Obsidian Falls, which is to read a thriller or mystery book. And for this, I picked The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. It's a thriller, murder mystery, so it will fulfill the prompt. The sixth prompt is Tower of Rumination, which is to read a 5-star prediction. And for this, I picked Night Study by Maria V. Snyder. Previously, I have given this 5 stars. I don't know what I'll rate it upon reread. I'm hoping 5 stars. The only book that I've rated 5 stars upon reread is Poison Study. So from Poison Study up to now, none of the books were 5 stars. I'm hoping this will change that from what I remember, because it's been so long since I reread this. I remember that I loved it, so we shall see. 5-star prediction, let's hope. And the last prompt is the Orilium Academy, and it's to read a book that has a school setting. And for this, I picked Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is a middle grade fantasy that I've been dying to get to. All I know is we follow Morgan Crow, who is destined to die, but the day before she dies, she is whisked away to Nevermore to go through some trials. That's all I really know, but I love competition or trial-based books. I'm very excited to read this. Again, with Ninth House, these are extra books, so I don't know if I'll get to it, but I'm really hoping I will. Okay, so with the extra prompts for background, I'm definitely choosing Wildling, which is to read a book set largely in a forest or outside. So if I'm going to double up, I'm either going to pick Heart of Flames, Blood and Honey, or Night Study. I think especially Night Study because I know there's a lot of traveling in forests and jungles and stuff, so I'll probably pick that, but we shall see. For Province, I'm going to pick Dark Meadow, which is to read a dark academia, and for this I can pick Ninth House. And Heritage, I'm going to pick Earthling. Now, I don't know if that's set in stone because I'm teetering between Elf and Earthling, but for now it's Earthling. And for that is to read a book with elemental magic or word in the title or series. And for this, I'm going to pick Heart of Flames because flames, fire, elemental magic. So like I said before, I don't know if I'm going to double up or I'm going to read extra books for it. I haven't quite decided, but you will know in my wrap up for sure. Okay, so those are all the prompts and all the books that I have to read. Let me just pick up the stack. Okay, so these are the books that I have to read. So my main priority is my Bookopoly TBR, which is Heart of Flames, Martian, Maidens, Blood and Honey, Night Study, and Sleeping Giants. So the extras would be Ninth House and Nevermore. I think this is doable, minus Nevermore and Ninth House, maybe, we'll see. I'm just gonna add maybe 2 books that I might read. Actually, one of them I might read, the other one I'm definitely reading today. So the first one is We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faizal. This is the first book in a YA fantasy series, and the reason why I'm reading this is because my wonderful friend Christine from the Roomies Digest has a book club with other co-hosts called Fantaseries, and she's always shown me support with my read-alongs, so I'm going to show her support by reading We Hunt the Flame. Now, the second book that I wanted to read is the sequel, We Free the Stars. I don't know if I will get to it, but I am going to try my level best. Also, please check out Christine, who is the one half of the Roomies Digest. I will link her channel down below. I will link the Fantaseries announcement down below so you can join the book club. So yeah, I think that's it. It's a lot of books on there, and September is a sort of hectic month. All my months that have uni are hectic. I actually forgot to say that I actually do have uni books to read that I did not show on this list. And I'm just looking at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 books for uni that I have to read. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you made it this far. Put a dice emoji. Let me know if you're participating in the Bookoplathon or Magical Readathon or Shardathon. Let me know, and definitely check out all those links down below. Check out my good friends. Give them some love and support. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out all my social, my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, Storygraph, all that jazz down below. The Discord as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!